Happy 2022. Your girl is back in these YouTube streets. Who am I? I'm Coach V&P, also known as Coach V, and I'm a certified mindfulness coach, self-mastery coach, and I created and trademarked the Mental Health is Sexy brand. If you want to know more about my brand story, and why I did it, I invite you to check me out on my website at www.coachvnp.com. Click the tab for brand story. You'll get all the details, Now, I've been away from YouTube for a while because my life got flipped upside down towards the end of last year, and I had to make some major changes in my personal life. And during that time, I was experimenting with Instagram and trying to learn TikTok. And so with all of those things happening, I've been neglecting YouTube. So for those of you who have been subscribed to my channel through my hiatus, thank you so much for your patience and your support. Your girl is back. And I have created a schedule for myself to upload videos that I can keep up with. And then I'll increase that schedule as time goes on. But I'm committed to once a week at least uploading a new video. More than likely that's going to be on a Sunday. So be sure to turn on your post notifications so that you know when I upload new content. Now, just because I haven't been creating videos does not mean that I haven't been keeping my ear close to these YouTube streets. And I have felt pulled and moved to make a video to give some support and some guidance to a particular YouTuber that I did watch regularly in the past, and then some things in the content changed, so I fell away, and now they're back in these YouTube streets trending. And because they are a fellow Taurus like myself, we are going to talk about some things that's going on currently or recently trended on YouTube with Storm Monroe. And I know from past videos that he believes in spirituality, so I'm hoping that if he sees this video or someone tells him about it, he understands that I'm coming from a space of love, and he understands that even though I am specifically talking about his situation that's going on or that did go on last week, that this video information is also intended to resonate with anyone else who may come across it. There are no happenstances when we're talking about universal law. Everything is intentional. So I do plan on sharing some commentary that can definitely help someone else who is not Storm Monroe, although my intent is for Storm. Again, coming from a space where I talk about mental health awareness, shared my own stories and transparency in the past, have coached clients one-on-one, have facilitated workshops for businesses as well as for my own personal business, have written self-help books. I created online courses. I'm coming from a space, not just from a spiritual space, with myself being clairaudient and, doing particular workings and practices, but I'm also coming from a space speaking upon my training and my certifications and then my life experience. I am in my 40s, and so I've lived through some things, experienced some things, made a lot of mistakes that I've learned from. And so when my heart feels pulled or my compassion becomes overwhelming and that I want to help someone or guide someone, and it can be unsolicited, I'm still going to do and follow spirit, because even though the person it's intended for may not ever see who I am or find out or hear about it, there's people who will come across this message and it resonates with them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So I just ask you to sit back, listen closely, and if you have any questions, again, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will answer them as time permits. I may even make it easy on myself and just do an answer in a video. With all that being said, I'm sure if you are a regular YouTube user, you have came across the whole Conscious TV, Storm Monroe, Von Ray, Chelsea, Tasha K conversation, panel, shouting match, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you've came across that. And there are so many bigger platforms here on YouTube that are talking about it and carrying the bones and repeating the tea and the drama and all of the things. And that's not the angle I'm interested in coming from. Again, I created and trademarked a mental health awareness brand called Mental Health is Sexy. So anything that I talk about on my channel is always going to have an angle, a spin, a guidance related to mental and emotional health. And this video is no different. I watched part of the exchange between Storm Monroe and, no, I watched part of the live. I honed in on the exchange, the live that's on Conscious TV. I honed in on the exchange between Storm Monroe and Tasha K. And I just want to, again, with everything that I mentioned in the beginning about who I am and what I do, I just wanted to mention a couple observations and tidbits and give some guidance to those of you who are invested in this story or who may be using YouTube not only for entertainment purposes, but also for informational purposes in an effort to help you better your life, to help you heal from trauma, to help you improve upon your mental and emotional health. That's my intent. I am such a small YouTuber. My platform is so small. So this is no intent or me throwing, my interest in being involved in this whole situation, right? Again, my intent is here to help heal the masses and to comment on what I observed from the eyes and experience that I have. Okay, with all that being said, and if you haven't seen any of what I'm talking about, just put it in your search box on YouTube. I'm sure 5011 videos will come up for you to get brought up to speed. Storm, I believe Storm is a Taurus. And I'm a Taurus. I'm a May Taurus. And I am very familiar with a lot of the demeanor, the mentality, the word choice, the lack of response, the body language that I saw Storm exhibit while he was on Conscious TV and while Tasha K was talking at him, because she wasn't talking to him or with him, she was talking at him. Before I embarked on my own healing journey almost a decade ago, before I addressed and dealt with the things about myself that didn't make me the most likable person, before I dealt with and addressed my mental and emotional health challenges, I was the type of person that Storm exhibited on that video. So when people usually think about people who are born underneath the zodiac sign of Taurus, we have a reputation of being stubborn. We have a reputation of being hot-headed. We have a reputation of feeling like we know everything, being cocky, being arrogant, talking down to people, being pompous, like being born underneath the sign of Taurus. Like there's so much that comes with it, just like with any zodiac, but I can only speak for what I am, a Taurus. There's so many labels that are put upon us that sometimes we feel like we have to live up to those labels, because it's almost like we want our reputation to precede us, right? So we want to be known that we'll pop off. We want to be known that we hot-headed. Like we want to be known that, yeah, we cocky. Like we want it to be known like, yeah, don't test me because I'll let you have it. My reputation speaks for itself. I'm that chick. I'm that dude. I got my ish together. Got my own house, own car, own job, own business. Everything I got is in my name. Like we walk around with that energy because we are subliminally taught that that's what Tauruses are. That's what we do. And again, I'm saying I recognize this because I led with that type of energy before I became the woman that I am today, right? So we're talking about over almost a decade ago. However, even with all that bravado that we carry, even with all of that arrogance, with all of that stubbornness, with all of that, you can't tell me nothing because I got this on my own, boom, boom, boom. We are one of the most sensitive, sincere, caring, compassionate, people-pleasing type of folks. When we decide that we trust you, we trust you. When we decide that we rock with you, we rock with you. When we decide that we hold you at such a high level of respect and esteem because maybe you helped us create something, or maybe you helped us get out of a bind, or maybe you helped us bring about or produce something out of nothing. Our loyalty can get ridiculous at times. Our loyalty can get so broad and so deep that we neglect being true to ourselves at times. And it's simply because as Tauruses, because we have all the other characteristics that I mentioned, it's hard for us to easily let someone get close to us. So once we decide to let you in, once we decide to let you get close to us, up close and personal and in our space, like that's where you are. Can't nobody come and tell me anything about you. Can't nobody say anything crazy around me about you. And even when I see things in you that I don't like, I'm trapped in this mental, emotional space of choosing to stay loyal because you helped me with this thing, or you helped me create this thing, or you got me out of this bind. And how my loyalty is set up, it allows me to look away and excuse this thing over here because you did this thing. And it can honestly be something that you did like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like as Tauruses, like we're just so deep in loyalty because we know and we're so aware that we make it difficult for people to get close to us. So when you actually break through that barrier, it's almost as if we love you for life. It's almost as if you can't do no wrong because it's like you've passed all the tests. Like you came through the prickly bushes and through the poison ivy, and you climbed the barbed wire fence and got all cut up, and you swam across the moat and you fought the dragon just to get to us. So because you've done that, and because of how we're built, we loyal for life. And to borrow a comment from Big Sean's verse, we be loyal to a fault. Until we get to a space where we become self-masters. We become aware of those thoughts, words, and behaviors that we hold on to our detriment. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm just bringing it back to say, prior to me doing my own work, I was the person that Storm represented in that video. I can see that you were doing some crazy stuff to me, saying some crazy stuff to me. I can even have a fit of anger or a fit of rage, just like Storm did at a moment in the conversation. And out of frustration, I could just say something quick or say something rough or look like I'm standing up for myself. And then just as quick as that moment came, I'll quickly go back into my shell. And it's not because I'm soft. It's not because, any of the derogatory terms, I just don't want to repeat them. It's simply because I have such a reverence for you. Because in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you've changed my life for the better. And I feel that I'm indebted to you forever and ever. Amen. So because my mentality is that way, I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to throw you under the bus. I don't want to pipe up at you, even though you piping up at me. And people who don't understand that about us will look at us and think that we're being weak. They will look at us and think that we deserve to be sunned or darted or whatever the cool terms are on the street. The challenge with that is this. When you have that type of personality and you deal with someone like Tasha K who can sniff that out of you, someone who can sense you're that type of person, you're a people pleaser, you hard in the paint, but not towards me. When you deal with people like that, who have ill intentions, they can, in fact, turn on you. Just like that family pit bull pet. They can turn on you, air out your dirty laundry, attack the vulnerable spots that you've confided in them because they've shown you in the past that they can be trustworthy. They've shown you in the past that they mean you no harm. They've shown you in the past that you're here, I can elevate you to here. So because that loyalty is built in a particular way with Taurus people, we put ourselves in position to get sunned or to get darted or to get checked by these people. And those people know that we're not going to pipe back up because they identify in us, oh, yeah, you can go talk to so-and-so this way. Or I can make you go do this to so-and-so. Oh, but you know better not to do that to me. And again, it's not because of a weakness or a fear. It's just how the loyalty is set up. I saw, and again, we're talking about being loyal to a fault. I saw the disappointment in Storm's face. I saw the childlike expression that came across his eyes when Tasha was saying certain things to him that he probably confided in her about, or things that he thought he was putting in a safe space with her. Because yes, even though he saw how she ran her YouTube channel and how she talks about other people, I promise you, he never thought that she would turn on him that way. Even if he saw her turn on Lovely T or Armand Wiggins or go at it with Wiley, I'm sure Storm thought, yeah, that's them. I ain't gonna never do nothing to make her that mad at me, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm telling you what I saw, and because of what I know from experience. When we get into situations with people and give them parts of us that they don't deserve, we become jaded to an extent, that we ignore the red flags, or we think, oh, that can never be me because I'm not going to do anything to get that person to that level. You know, those people got what they deserve because they did A, B, C, D, and E to him or her. I'm not going to do that type. I'm not going to be that type of person. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to have to go through that. When that pit bull turns and bite you, before you get angry, before you want revenge, before you turn up and pipe back, your first immediate emotion is shock, because you turned on me, and then after the shock comes the disappointment. It's only after that shock and disappointment then that anger comes. When you keep thinking about it, when you think about, oh, I should have said this, or I could have said this, and why they saying this to me? I could have told A, B, C, D, and E about them, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Gaslighting is a real thing. It's not just something you do when your pilot light go out, or on your water heater, or when you firing up the grill. Tasha gaslight the entire you-know-what out of Storm. And Storm has been so enamored to an extent with Tasha that he didn't catch that tea while it was happening. Now, he may have watched or listened to the conversation because I want to interview later and peeped it. But in that moment, I'm pretty sure his adrenaline was going so fast from being shocked and disappointed that she was coming at him that way, that he didn't even peep the gaslighting. He just went back into his shell. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was younger, we had a Christmas holiday in the household. It was me, my mom, and my sister. And my sister, I saw her while she and I were home by ourselves. I saw her underneath the tree opening gifts, trying to peek into gifts, right? And I guess I just assumed that she was only going to open her own gifts, not peek at mine, you know. But I guess through her just grabbing gifts and peeling back the paper, she either didn't pay attention to the names or she intentionally set me up. So when mom gets home, peace and blessings be upon her. So when my mom gets home, she sees the gifts have been tampered with. And I'm the oldest, so she comes and asks me, you know, what happened and who opened gifts and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? It's only 2 people in here. Rah, 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 rah. Who opened the gifts? I don't know. Da-da-da. So back in the day, my mom was like a huge disciplinarian, as plenty of black households had disciplinarian parents, whether it was 1 or 2 parents there. Which is one of those things that was acceptable back in the day. But in any event, so she's cursing, telling me she's going to beat my you-know-what. So then she changes her question from who opened the presents, to which I answered, I don't know. She changed it to, did you open a present? So now she's specifically asking about me. Did I open a present? I said, no, I didn't. Well, who did? I don't know. I took one of the worst, because I had a lot of them, one of the worst butt whippings I've ever gotten simply because I wouldn't rat my sister out. Because even as a young child, my mind said, okay, if there's 2 of us here and I told you I ain't do it, you got to go find out who the other person is, because I'm no snitch, right? So I even knew that mentality and felt that way as a youngin', right? I'm telling you that story to say this. I saw and I felt that energy from Storm. Before Storm had his moment of, you brought that into my house, I feel like he was trying to answer the questions, or he didn't want to say what he really wanted to say. And maybe he was relying on Tasha to step up to the plate, take ownership, because he was Storm. So even though he doesn't see her do that on YouTube videos and other scenarios, he was Storm. So in his mind, he may have been like, oh yeah, I know she did that to so-and-so and so-and-so, but I'm Storm. She gonna take this L for me. Like, she gonna take ownership. She gonna step up for me. And when she didn't, and then she kept badgering him and gaslighting him and throwing him back under the bus and making him claim responsibility and trying to absolve herself of any responsibility, that's when he finally snapped and said, you brought that N-word to my house. Because at that moment, I'm telling you, he was shocked and he was disappointed. So now it's like, gloves are off, but they really ain't off, because I still respect her. She still improved my life. She still did, and I don't know what happened in the background, so that's why I'm just saying things. She still did these things for me. She let me stay with her. She helped me grow my channel, monetize my channel. Like, this is still my mentor. So half of me is saying gloves are off, now I'm gonna pipe up, but in the other half, I have to be true to who I am. And me being true to who I am means I respect her, I revere her, I'm not going to throw her under the bus. Just certain things I'm not going to say, certain things I'm not going to repeat. I'm going down with the ship type of energy. And Tasha knowing that about him, and her being a narcissist and verbally abusive, and being totally and completely out for herself. And I'm sure there's probably some stress and mental, emotional challenges that are happening with this whole case she has with Cardi B. All of those things together, and anything else that we don't know about, Storm was an easy target. He was an easy punching bag. And I'm sure Tasha was a little bit shooketh when Storm piped up the few moments that he did. You have to be aware of yourself and aware of your triggers. And you have to be mindful of who you choose to give loyalty to. You also have to understand that just because someone did something to you, for you, around you that was life-changing, that does not translate to you being indebted to them or being their servant for the rest of your life. You say thank you when someone does something for you. If you want to return the favor, you do that. But don't ever, from this day forward, let it put you in a position where you devalue yourself, your voice, your safety to make that person like you, keep you around, do favors for you, look out for you, hook you up, all of the things. There are just so many nuances in that conversation. And when she told Storm in the most calmest tone that that would be the last time they ever speak, I promise you, Storm dropped a few tears. Now, I'm not saying he did it, he was on Conscious TV. I'm saying after the fact, when everything played out. Because you have to look at the language choice and tone of Tasha. Abusive people, whether it's verbal or physical, are charming to other people. Because I don't want you to know how I really am behind closed doors. So I'm going to be charming out in public. And again, I'm speaking on things that I had to grow out of. Being abusive physically and verbally, and also being abused by people physically and verbally. So I understand and know on both sides. She dangled in front of him the one thing that she thought, and it may be true, I don't know, but the one thing that she thought would either, one, get him back in line, because he was stepping out of line, or number two, that would hurt him the most. And that was losing access to her. We'll never talk again after today. And you don't have no friends. You have to understand and recognize that this is deeper than just YouTube drama. This is deeper than just hurt feelings. This is abuse in the most salacious, conniving, insidious type of way. It's so slick that the person being abused may not even see it as abuse, because they're so distracted by the fact of that carrot being dangled, them not having access any longer to that person, them not being invited over, them not being mentored, the life not elevating anymore. That has to do with self-confidence, right? Self-love, or lack of it, I should say. So when we talk about self-mastery, and me as a coach helping people to see and identify parts of relationships that challenge their mental and emotional health, those are the type of things I teach people and talk about. We as humans can't be so enamored by another human. I don't care what they've done for you. We can't be so enamored by another human that they are allowed to talk to us any type of way, treat us any type of way, or in this case, throw us away like yesterday's garbage when they're done playing with us. And that's what happened with Storm. Many of you watching this have been in situations like that, whether it's been a romantic relationship, personal relationship, professional relationship. Usually it's a more intimate relationship than professional. But we've been in situations where we see the red flags, we see how that person treats other people in the friend group, other people in the family. Oh, but they helped us pay our mortgage or our rent, before we got kicked out. Or, oh, when I didn't have no food in my house, they gave us some stamps, so they brought us groceries. Or, oh, when me and my boyfriend broke up and he beat me up, they kept my secret and took me to the hospital and put ice on my bruises and helped me get my children. Oh, I'm indebted to them for life. So they allow that person consciously and subconsciously to disrespect the entire what out of them as soon as they see fit. And you can identify those type of narcissistic, gaslighting, abusive people by what happens when y'all have a disagreement. Do they throw up in your face the things that they've done for you, whether it's small, medium, or large? Do they repeat to you? So not only do they throw up the things in your face that they've done for you, no matter how recent or how old it is. Number two, do they throw up in your face in a negative, judgmental, teasing, abusive way the things that you've confided in them about? Whether it was a lack of friends, or feeling lonely, or not feeling included, or I wish I had this. Do they throw those things up in your face? Number three, do they overspeak you? Do they show you repeatedly that they devalue your opinion? Or do they treat your opinion or your feelings or your words as if, oh, it's juvenile, I don't have time for that? Number four, does that person, when y'all have a disagreement, make you feel like you mean nothing to them? By saying we don't have to talk no more, by saying I'm done, do they make you feel that way? Now, I'm not saying that if someone you're thinking about hits all 4 points that they're bad people. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't believe there's bad people. I believe people exhibit behavior that society views as bad, but I don't think the person is bad. What I do believe, though, is a lot of us are walking around with unchecked mental and emotional challenges. It's not always clinical. I believe that a lot of people are walking around with unhealed trauma, even though they may brag about going to therapy. Oh, that grinded my gears too. Let me say this real quick and wrap this video up. I think it's Othello from back in school. There was a play, and he said to his wife Desdemona, when he was confronting her about sleeping around or something, and she was trying to convince him by repeating over and over and over. Othello at one point cut Desdemona off and said, I fear doth protest too much. Meaning, girl, hush your mouth, because you're talking too much to try to convince me that you didn't do this thing. So now I believe that you did this thing. When a person boasts and brags so much about, oh, I go to therapy and I see my therapist and I do this and I do that, woo, 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 but you really don't see their behavior changing in their day-to-day life, either they really ain't going to therapy, and number one, that part, or they're not doing the work that the therapist is assigning. And I don't see how a therapist continues to, unless it's money motivated or, oh, I'm about to get off into another tangent. I don't want to go in. Let me just say this. When a person boast and brag so much about they go to therapy, they go to therapy, they go to therapy, but you don't see a change in behavior, their speech, their thought patterns, question what they saying. Because I don't want to say the therapist ain't doing their job, because when you do things like therapy, or you get a coach like myself, or even if it's a fitness routine, a physical fitness routine, it's not always that professional isn't a good professional. Sometimes the client just doesn't listen. Sometimes the client is just doing something for a look or an aesthetic, and they're not really committed to the process. So that's why me as a coach, when I sense that from someone, I end the business. Because what you won't do is go out and brag on my name, but then you're not making any changes, because you're in a sense a walking advertisement for me. So if you're saying, oh, I'm taking lessons from Coach V, I'm going to these workshops, I'm going to these classes, I've read her books, I've completed courses online, but then nothing is improving about you as a person. I have this, y'all probably see me keep doing that, but nothing is improving as a person. I don't want you saying my name and that you're working with me, because you're clearly not doing the work. And that's fine. So we're going to end this relationship. And when you're seriously, really ready to do the work, then you can come back and see me and I'll see if I got to open it. You feel me? I say that because what really grind my gears and stopped me in my tracks when Tasha was telling Storm, we go to the same therapist. And if you wanted to talk to me, we could have used a third party and talked to therapists. Can't call the name right now. Why is that okay for you to say something like that in a public setting? Because your feelings are hurt, because you're narcissistic, because you gaslighting the entire you know what out of me, because my opinion doesn't matter to you. I probably really wasn't your friend. This was all business. And I think to an extent that part is really true, but Storm wanted more and Tasha played upon that and gave him more until he did something that she didn't like that he did. Storm made an effort in an attempt to reclaim his power. Tasha didn't like that. And she saw that perhaps he got to a point where she can't control him or do anything else for him. And I say perhaps because we don't know what's happening. Like right now at this moment, we don't know if they're on the phone, if they had lunch, if they've had a conversation, if they had a sleepover, if they went to therapy together. Like, we don't know. We just know what's being put out on these YouTube streets. I would hate to find out that it was actually a money grab. The whole situation was orchestrated. The argument, the conversation with Monroe, like all those things were orchestrated, because that would really lower the stock that I put in humanity. But no, seriously, this video is a little bit longer than I intended. But like I said, there's so many nuances in this situation. But I just wanted to speak to Storm. I know I'm a small YouTuber, but if Storm want to have a chat, we can have a chat and talk about these things and possibly help other people who are experiencing similar situations or that have experienced similar situations in the past and want to know how to heal and push past them. However, I have no desire to be caught up in the back and forth and it's sad. But everything has a purpose. You know, this situation was the catalyst to get me out of YouTube retirement and to speak to you. So if one person sees this video and watches it all the way through and gets some value and some input, I will feel accomplished. You know, I may make other videos talking about other nuances in here. But I also want to shout out Tim 2.0. A lot of his commentary on this situation, I feel, has been spot on, whether it was money motivated, whether it's holding everybody accountable equally. And that's the type of YouTube that I like to watch and follow. You know, none of the favorites. Like, if your favorite need to be called out, call them out too, in the most respectful way. Like, we're here to learn from one another. You know, I know YouTube is mostly entertainment, but there are small channels like myself that are out here because we have a specialized skill set or training or life experience, or we have spiritual gifts. Like, we out here really want to help heal the masses. I mean, of course we have products and services that we want to promote and grow our brand and grow our following. However, before any of that happens, like, we legit want to do our work and help heal the masses and help people to, you know, recognize their power and to step into it. And until the majority of you value content, commentary, and resources like that, then the messy drama is what's always going to trend and always get, you know, the attention and the support. And I know I'm going off on a tangent again, but again, this is my first video in like a long time, so I'm just thinking about some stuff and I'm rusty. So I want to wrap this video up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And I invite you to go through the playlist. If you're into angel numbers, I have an angel number playlist. I know there's like over 10 videos over there. Um, maybe you'll catch a blessing. So, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm on Instagram at Coach VMP. It's in the About section as well on my channel. And I just know it's better on the other side after you become self-aware and after you do regular practices to master yourself. People can't manipulate you as easy as they may have in the past. People can't throw your energy off as quickly. People can't gaslight you as easily. You're able to recognize those things. Like, you're able to pick up people's energy. You're able to see through the rose-colored glasses. Like, you're able to see beyond that. You're able to see the true person's intention and energy and aura, and you're able to do that in an effort not to judge, but in an effort to protect yourself and your peace. And I just want to help people do that. So, okay, let me go because this video is getting way too long. Again, like this video, subscribe, comment. If you like commentary like this, let me know. I will make them shorter because I got stuff to do. Let me know. But I'm here to teach. I'm here to teach you how to master yourself so that you can pivot when situations like this present themselves. Like, I'm sending healing energy to Storm. I'm serious. If he wants to have a conversation about this in a space that's non-judgmental from another Taurus, a spiritually gifted Taurus, and one that has done her own work and been through her own things, like, y'all tell Storm to come find me. I'm not hard to find. But I would love to, and I love my black men so much. Like, I would love to talk to Storm. I would love to talk to Storm. Like I said, I've been through so much recently in my personal life that has really helped me to change my perspective on black men and what they need and how, as black women, we can give it to them. And I'm still doing my work and still mending my fences and allowing people to mend the fences that they broke with me. So that allows a totally different level of peace and self-mastery, which is another conversation for another day. But I love my black man so much, and Storm being a part of that population, I welcome an opportunity to talk to you and help you pivot through this experience, and in a way that may be different from what your therapist can offer. And that's it, y'all. This video is like almost 45 minutes. See, this is why I can't be away for long, because when I come back, I make these super long videos, and that wasn't even my intent. So we'll leave this video up, and then I will see y'all next Sunday. But next Sunday when I see y'all, I think I will be in a different place. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tag Storm, and I will see you in the next one.